To everybody, we will start now the webinar about the BCH capacity building projects. First of all, I would like to introduce you to Mrs. Ileana Catalina Lopez, that is the project manager for the BCH2 project, and she works under the Division of Environmental Laws and Conventions. There you have her email and telephone number. I will introduce myself. I'm Ernesto Ocampo. I think most of you already know me. I'm a regional specialist for the BCH and also in charge of the training materials. Just a few slides about the control panel that you have for this GoToWebinar tool. On the left side, you will see that you have your presenter screen. We will project our PowerPoint presentations and our screens on your screen in that panel. And on the right panel, you will have a control panel. It's important to note that this control panel will collapse after a few minutes if you don't change some options. So it's interesting to go to the menu and open the view menu and uncheck the option that says auto hide the control panel. Besides the control panel, you will see a small bar. This is called the quick bar, and you have a small icon. The first one is a white arrow over an orange background. With that arrow, you can collapse or expand your control panel if you want to see the whole screen. And then you have a very important control there, that is the hand. If you want to say something, to ask a question, you can press that icon. It's like raising your hand in a classroom environment, and we will see it on our screens, and we will give you the microphone for you to speak. Then you also have a panel for questions. We will appreciate if you could write down your questions so we have them on our screens, and then we can address all of them one at a time. For any questions about the webinar functioning, you can send me an email at this email address, webinar@bch2project.org. This webinar, as all the others in our series, will be recorded. And it's important to know that if you don't want to be recorded in the webinar, don't share your microphone and don't share your screen. All the concepts expressed by participants here will not reflect in any way the official position of UNEP about any aspect related to the Cartagena Protocol. And if you have any question related to the Cartagena Protocol, we will have here with us today Mr. Giovanni Ferraiolo, that is the officer in charge of the BCH at the CBD. And we can forward then our questions about the Cartagena Protocol to the convention, to the Secretary of the Convention for any issues. So once we start to record the webinar, you will see there is a small light in your control panel, a red light that indicates that the session is being recorded. I will pass the floor now to Mrs. Ileana Catalina Lopez, that is a project manager for BCH2 project. And she will tell us more about this project. Hello? 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 What the fuck? Hello? Ileana, do you hear me? Hello? 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 Ileana, do you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, there was a glitch in the network. I am seeing your screen now.
Okay.
Okay, we can continue.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. And I'm going to start to give you a very brief explanation of what is going on with the Biosafety Clearinghouse, well known as a BCH2 project. And this is a project for continued enhancement and building capacity for effective participation in the Biosafety Clearinghouse to help countries to comply with the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety. This project, as all of you know, some of you have already participated at this BCH2 project, as I have seen some of the names on the screens, but this was developed as a direct response to request of Paris and COPMO 4, then subsequently COPMO 5, and is developed, as you know, in collaboration with the Secretariat of the Convention on Biological Diversity. This is a continuation of building capacity for the previous BCH1 project, and it's in an enabled activity. The funds are from GEF, and basically the main components of this project are training, regional networking, and more importantly, the institutionalization of the BCH national focal point. The criteria for this BCH2 were that all parties that belong to the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, that already participated in the National Biosafety Framework Development Project, and that concluded the BCH1 project. This is not going to be the case, as we will talk furtherly, for those countries that engage in the BCH, let's call it BCH3, is approved very closely. This is going to be for all eligible parties, but these were the criteria for the BCH2. The objective of this project is, as we were discussing before, is to continue assisting eligible countries, strengthening national capacities to effectively access and use the Biosafety Clearinghouse, as well as promoting regional and sub-regional collaboration, networking at the regional training workshops, as well as different collaborations that the countries have established, and exchange experience for national and regional BCH management. The project, the BCH2 project, has 5 components. The first one, as we barely mentioned before, is the sub-regional networking and knowledge for sharing of information for effective management of the BCH. For that, we can share that during the BCH, we held 5 regional training workshops with more than 88 new basic records registered at the BCH Central Portal, meaning that really the effects of this project have been recorded and published at the BCH Central Portal. This is the main purpose actually of this project, to be able to have more data available at the BCH for compliance purposes. At the same time, my colleague, Dr. Ocampo, is going to explain in a few moments about the virtual learning platform or virtual learning environment, where we have set up in the 5 UN languages, where we are sharing all the different training materials that are being used for several academic institutions around the world. So the capacity of the BCH is not going to be lost after the end of the project. We are going also to talk about component number 3, which is the continuation of the BCH Regional Advisor System. For those of you that were before at the Biosafety Clearinghouse BCH1 project, or now BCH2, are familiar with this network of experts that are engaged in supporting countries on updating the central portal and reviewing and translating training materials, as well as assisting the countries with the national training capacities at the national and regional training workshops. The 5th component is the extension of all these national trainings that were done in the past at the BCH1, and for those countries that are going to engage at this project that have never done any trainings, is to take all the know-how of the BCH, how to record data, how to find information, how to post a decision, etc., how to share this with several stakeholders. We normally start with the basic stakeholders, the most important, which is the government officials, and then we move to stakeholders that have been requested at the different COPs. And finally, the last component is support the establishment and internalization of the BCH focal point role and other BCH information sharing tools, as well as establishing for those countries that are running the implementation projects, synergies so both projects run in parallel and with full support. We're going to talk a little bit about who is all the team behind this project. We will start talking about the implementation agency, who plays the implementation role, and they are also located in Nairobi, but they belong to an agency that is called the Division of Environmental Policy Implementation, and this is where is sitting Alex Ouso-Bine. He is the portfolio manager and representation of Jeff, and the financial manager is Lydia, as you can see. The project is executed by the Division of Environmental Law and Convention and entrenched in the program of work for the years 2010-2011, as well as 2012 and 2013, and is in support for multilateral environmental agreements. The team in Nairobi at the Division of Environmental Law and Convention is Margaret Oduk, the task manager, Ileana Lopez, myself, I am the project manager, and the project assistant is Ms. Florence Bagui. At the same way, we have spread around the world different a team of the regional advisors as well as the regional specialists. They are in charge of coordinating the national missions at regional level, and we have, as you listened before, to Dr. Ocampo, and also there is Dr. Mohamed El Kuchuk, which he is responsible for Africa, and Ernesto for Latin America and the Caribbean. In my case, I am responsible for the project as well as the Central Eastern Europe, Asia Pacific, and that's it. We have a network of 25 regional advisors, and also this project is guided and advised by the project steering committee that meets annually, and as you can see, there is the list of the different institutions and the names of the persons in charge. We have people from DEPI, GEF, DELC, the CBD, and Giovanni Ferraiolo that is with us today, as well as the United Nations University, UNO-BIOLAC, the Third World Network, and ECGEB, and the Global Industry Coalition. Currently, there are 50 countries already participating in this country, and at this point, we are almost concluding the project. We are almost with the 95% of all the target indicators already achieved. For the Africa regions, we used to have 23 countries, and as you can see for the different other regions, Asia Pacific 11, Latin America 9, and so on. So this is the distribution. You can see at this map, and the blue color, you can see the colors that were currently participating at the BCH2 project, and those that are in green were countries that, even though were not part of the BCH project, like China and South Korea, that helped us to make one of the regional training workshops in their country, as well as Kenya and some others, were also benefited from the project. And we can say that we are reaching more and more countries as we go, because now with this virtual platform, we are just going beyond control, because we have countries from all the world. These are the name of the countries. And basically, for those that want to be familiar with this project, the main two concepts behind are sustainability for capacity building and information sharing on biosafety. The purpose is that after this project is completed, the countries are going to be able to sustain with the national capacities their own biosafety systems, and being able to register information and build some networking with other countries. There are two main pillars of this project that are the BCH learning environment that my colleague is going to furtherly explain, and the regional advisor system. I will give you an idea of the network of the regional advisors. As you can see here, this is a group of colleagues that spread all around the world, and they are in charge of providing assistance with giving national as well as regional training workshops, as explained before, as well supporting the translation of training materials, creation of training materials, as well, and some other biosafety issues. So basically, they are focused in three aspects: training, dissemination to academia, all the training materials, and focusing on sustainability. What do we do with training? We deliver training activities with our national counterparts and how to use, how to access, and how to make available information, the national information at the BCH Central Portal. With the academia, we have been helping with the integration of existing BCH training curricula and materials into the national academic courses. We have more than 82 universities that are already not necessarily opening new careers because there is not enough material for that, but using the current materials into the curricula of different courses at the universities. And finally, they help to sustain and devise the terms of reference or different tasks and descriptions included as the part of the national focal point job description. So the intention of this project is sustainability. So now at this point, I would like to share with you some of the results that we have achieved during the project. And we can say this is, you see, the historical the dissemination of national records published at the BCH Central Portal since its origins. As you see, at the beginning it was a baby and it was kind of crawling and starting to walk. There were so many few data at 2004, 2005, there was a little bit more knowledge, but as you can see, there are two momentums that are very important on this chart, and these are 2009, 2010, and 2011. We have not there the 2012, but the chart is showing that every day there are more and more data and records available, or meaning published at the BCH Central Portal. So we compare, if we compare the countries that have been participating at the BCH Central Portal against those countries that have not participated at the BCH Central Portal, we have concluded that the BCH2 project countries created 18% and updated 38% of the total national records available at the BCH Central Portal since December 1, 2011 to December 2012. We also can see that there was a percentage increase of total published records in the BCH2 participating countries, 61% against those countries that were not fully participating at the project. So there are advantages because, as you see, everything with the multilateral environmental agreements is about compliance, and specifically talking at the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety. And if we refer to the, I will say, the heart of the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, Article 20, the fact that this exists and the main purpose is to have all the records published at the BCH Central Portal. At this moment, I would like to let my colleague Ernesto Campo to be able to show you what is available about the training materials.
Thank you, Ileana. I think that there is a hand raised from Samia Tekmani. Samia, do you want to ask a question?
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I don't know if the attendees can listen to you.
Yes. Please increase the volume a bit.
So can you please give the microphone to...
Yeah, it's open. The microphone, it's open.
Okay. Yes, please, go ahead, and we would love to hear your question. Hello?
No, I think that there's some problem in the microphone. Okay, let's go ahead then.
Can you give the name of the person that has the floor?
Yes, Samia Tekmani.
But she doesn't have a question or...
Okay. Can we continue then?
Yes, please. Could you please continue?
Okay. As Ileana said, there are two big pillars for the BCH capacity building projects. One of them is the regional advisors systems, and the other very important pillar that we have been developing since 2005 are the BCH education materials. Nowadays, this amounts to more than 75 different learning objects each one of them in each of 5 UN languages, like, for example, curricula, manuals, interactive modules, case studies, reference guides, quiz questions and answers, and all of them are available both from our virtual learning environment that I will show you in a minute, and the BCH Central Portal help system. We have also added in the last months a set of webinars like this one, but specific for the different BCH topics. Our virtual learning environment can be reached at this address, http://moodle.bch.cbd.int, and you can reach all the public global materials as guest users, but if you have your username and password, you will also be engaged in our discussions, and you will be notified of all the news. So if you don't have a registered user and you want to have one, just send an email to this email address stating your name, surname, and country. Our virtual learning environment looks like this screen when you arrive. There are 5 global public courses that hold all the virtual materials that we quickly will show now. We have a set of curriculums that state for different target stakeholders which are the learning materials that you can use, like different manuals or different case studies or reference guides. Like, for example, if you want to do a training for people from the industry or training for people from the academia, you need to select different materials for each target audience, and this curricula list all the suitable materials. We have also a set of manuals. Some of them are introductory, like a manual for introduction to Cartagena protocol or introduction to the BCH. Then you have some manuals, comprehensive manuals about finding information in the BCH or searching or registering information in the BCH, and also a manual specific for the custom and phytosanitary officers that has been developed recently that address all their specific needs regarding to biosafety and BCH information. The interactive modules are some small computer programs that you can download and install in your computers, and then you can run them as a standalone. They have some audio. These 2 interactive modules that we have available in English, French, and Spanish are very handy tools for you to get some initial training on Cartagena protocol and also the biosafety clearinghouse. The case studies, we have around more than 30 different case studies. These are applied exercises that you can solve using the biosafety clearinghouse. They state initially a brief scenario that is specific for a specific target audience or certain kind of tasks that you can develop using the BCH, and then you have a couple of questions that you can solve using the biosafety clearinghouse. The reference guides and the quiz questions are also other learning objects that can help in any capacity building activity, capacity training activity, or you can even use them at a university course or career inside a conference or a small BCH workshop. The ready reference guides are short documents that address a specific concept of the BCH, like, for example, the kind of records that you can register in the BCH, and they're handy. You can just have them over your table when you're working on the BCH. And then there are a couple of documents about discussion points and quiz questions that you can use for doing some dynamics on your workshops or training sessions. As I said before, then the virtual learning environment is available at this address, moodle.bch.cbd.int. It is based on an open source infrastructure that is very common to more than 70,000 universities and colleges and training institutions all around the world, so it's very well supported. We nowadays have 5 global BCH public courses more than 36 specific national BCH workshop courses, virtual support courses. The same for the regional workshops that we have been doing during this second BCH project, and some internal workshop courses for our regional advisors. As of today, and Elena talked about this, we have registered in our virtual learning environment more than 3,000 people, and they are accessing the training materials from more than 125 different countries. So there are a lot more countries accessing our BCH education materials than just the 50 ones that have participated in the second phase of the BCH. Thus, we see that there is a lot of need and interest for BCH education materials. This may be a bit obsolete. As November last year, there were more than 49 universities from more than 29 countries that were using in some way or other different pieces of our BCH education materials. And this is one of the targets of this BCH2 project, to try to transfer the knowledge of all the available BCH education materials as much as possible to the civil society inside the countries, particularly to the education sector. Basically then, our combination of regional advisors and BCH education materials has been very effective and efficient for our projects, for our capacity building projects, and we are really trying to transfer this knowledge to countries in order to foster the sustainability of biosafety and BCH capacity building. So thank you very much. I will pass the floor again to Ileana. Any questions about this? Okay, if there are no questions, Ileana, okay, so yeah, I see a couple of questions.
There are two questions.
Yeah. Elena, I will give you the floor.
Elena.
Elena, I will read Elena's question that is here. Sorry, just a second. Could I get information about add-on to the UNEP-GEF project BCH2? Will ever start, and could Belarus have a chance to join that project? Okay, I think Ileana will address the extension to the BCH project now, Elena.
And Fatmira.
Fatmira, do you want to use your microphone, or okay, you have a question here that says, could you please explain why I am muted? Yeah, okay. All the attendees are muted by default when starting. If you want to have the microphone, just raise your hand. You have the Microsoft now, Fatmira.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much.
If you have any question, please raise your hand so I can see you in my control panel, and I'll give you the microphone.
Yeah. I wanted to know if any project is still running in Albania.
Ileana?
In Albania.
Okay, Ileana, can you answer
No,
that?
Albania is going to be, if the BCH3 or the new phase is approved, Albania is going to be part of the project.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
I think Ileana will address that issues next.
Thank you for your questions. We appreciate the interest, and I would like to keep giving you a little bit more information. The BCH2 project is practically closed, and will be officially closing by the end of 30th of June of 2013. Basically, now we are just closing administration issues, but the good surprise and the hope that we have that a new biosafety clearinghouse capacity building project to be once again funded by GEF now is under negotiation. We are not promising or saying that already exists, because the fact that this exists will mean that all the countries send a letter that is called an endorsement letter, where your country show interest and the desire to join this project. The project that is being drafted pretends to have a similar approach to the earlier BCH2, as we have explained this afternoon. That currently was delivered to use 50 countries, but for the new phase, it is expected to target 76 eligible parties or countries, and this not only aims for the capacity building in the BCH, but also to promote regional and sub-regional collaboration, networking, but the main focus will be sustainability, meaning that at the end of the project, countries will be independently doing their BCH publishing, registering, having their websites and all the information available by themselves, and they are going to become trainers of trainees. And then if you ask me how can my country participate, several countries have already expressed that out of these 76 countries, 60% have expressed interest, and we have already the letters and the co-finance figures, but we are still missing like 32 countries. And we will appreciate if we receive your country endorsement letter as soon as possible to be able to expedite this new phase. And as well, we will keep you informed on the progress of the project proposal as we have more information, but very important to send the endorsement letter. So for those of you that your country have not been recipient of this project, please, we encourage you to talk with the BCH focal point and to your GEF operational focal point. I would like to thank you again to all the participants from the current BCH2 project, as well as those new participants that I have seen in the screen. And please, as said before, and if you have interest, don't hesitate to contact the GEF operational focal point in your country, as well as any of us if you have more questions. Thank you so much. And I don't know if you would like to have more questions. Thank you.
Okay, the floor is open for questions now.
So I don't see more questions.
Please raise your hand. I see a hand from Samia Turkmani. Do you have any questions, Samia?
I don't see that question here.
No, there's no questions now. Okay, the floor is open for questions. If you have any question, please raise your hand and I'll open the microphone for you.
Also, can be comments.
Maybe Ernesto, let's say again. Sorry, let's say again how to raise the hand.
Yeah, please remember that to raise a hand on the quick bar that you have, the small quick bar. There are a couple of icons there. The last one is the with a hand icon. You can just press on that icon, and I will see you need the floor. Giovanni, would you like to make any comments about the project or the effect of capacity building projects in general, as you
well,
have
I mean,
history?
Thank you, Ernesto. Good morning, everybody. Yes, I mean, I can only congratulate the UNEP-GEF project so far. I mean, we've been receiving the data of the different countries that have been participating, and a few weeks ago we have started to make a sort of an inventory of the data, and we find out that 87% of parties' decisions are accompanied by mandatory risk assessment. There's a big increase compared to even to the last COP MOP, and also in sharing the information with the other database that deals with the same type of information, we calculated that 90% of the decisions among parties that have been taken on LMO are currently registered on the BCH. These are very encouraging numbers, so it's extremely important to continue this trend, to continue to maintain this type of compliance, and the UNEP-GEF project has been definitely a big component into reaching this type of numbers. So for those countries that have the possibility to have this project implemented, I will definitely recommend this type of experience. Thank you, Ernesto.
You're welcome. Mrs. Elena Makeyeva, you did have a question about the extension. Has it been answered for you? Mrs. Makeyeva? You had answered if Belarus would have a chance to join the project, the BCH extension. Is it an answer for you? Okay, then if we don't have any more questions, we can finish this webinar. Ileana, can you close, please?
Thank you again to everybody, to Giovanni for being with us today and for expressing these very kind words to the project, as well as to Ernesto for his full explanation about the BCH training materials. And we encourage to all the countries that have not been part of the BCH2 project to fully engage and try to be proactive in your countries and share the work of what you have learned today. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you everybody. Good morning or good afternoon. Thank you, Giovanni.
Bye-bye and good day to everybody. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.